The Devil's Shadow, Devil's Hollow, a name whispered in fear, a place avoided by locals. It was a scar on the land, a valley where darkness lingered. Legends spoke of vanished souls and ancient evils. Few dared to enter, none returned unchanged. Matthew Hargrove, a writer drawn to the strange and unexplained, scoffed at the tales. He sought inspiration, a story to ignite his stagnant career. He would find it in Devil's Hollow, he was sure. He would find the truth behind the legends. Redrock Valley awaits. Matthew arrived in Redrock Valley on a day choked by humidity. The air hung heavy, pregnant with the threat of a storm. The town was small, its inhabitants wary of outsiders. They knew of his destination. Their eyes held a mixture of pity and warning. He met his guide, a grizzled old man named Jebediah, at the edge of town. Jebediah knew the valley well, had even been foolish enough to venture into Devil's Hollow in his youth. He agreed to lead Matthew to its edge, no further. Whispers in the wind. The descent into Devil's Hollow was treacherous. The path, barely visible, wound through dense forest. The air grew colder, the silence broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy, casting long, eerie shadows. As dusk approached, they made camp. Jebediah refused to go further. He spoke of strange noises, cold spots, and a feeling of being watched. Matthew dismissed his fears as superstition. He would soon discover the truth. Trapped by terror. Matthew awoke to a deafening roar. Rain lashed down, turning the path into a raging torrent. A landslide blocked their return. They were trapped. Panic welled in Matthew's chest. He was at the mercy of Devil's Hollow. The storm raged for hours. When it finally subsided, an eerie silence descended. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, something metallic and cloying. It was the smell of fear. The man with empty eyes. They stumbled through the sodden landscape, disoriented and afraid. The forest had grown quiet, the usual sounds of birdsong and insects replaced by a chilling stillness. They were not alone. They saw him standing at the edge of a clearing. He was tall and gaunt, dressed in clothes that hung loosely on his frame. His face was pale and drawn, his eyes two black pits devoid of life. He didn't speak, but his gaze sent shivers down their spines. They knew, with a certainty that chilled them to the bone, that he meant them harm. Shadows of the past. They fled, crashing through the undergrowth, desperate to escape the man with empty eyes. They stumbled upon the ruins of a town, swallowed by the forest. Weathered buildings stood like skeletal remains, a testament to a forgotten tragedy. As they explored the ghost town, they were plagued by visions. They saw flashes of the town's past, families torn apart, buildings consumed by fire, a darkness spreading like a disease. The air vibrated with the screams of the dead. The price of survival. Days turned into nights. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, thirst parched their throats. They were lost in a maze of their own making, tormented by hallucinations and stalked by the man with empty eyes. Jebediah, driven mad by fear, claimed to see the faces of the dead in the trees, their voices whispering his name. He ran into the forest, his screams echoing through the silent trees. Matthew never saw him again. Rescue from the abyss. Matthew stumbled through the forest, driven by instinct and a primal need to escape. He no longer cared about the story, about the truth. He just wanted to leave Devil's Hollow behind. He wanted to forget the horrors he had witnessed. He emerged from the darkness, blinking in the sunlight, his clothes torn, his mind shattered. A search party, alerted by his abandoned car, found him at the edge of the valley. He was safe, but he was forever changed. The Hollow's hunger. Devil's Hollow had claimed another victim. The locals whispered about his tale, their faces grim. They knew the truth. Devil's Hollow was not a place of legend, but a living nightmare. It fed on fear, on despair. It took what it wanted, leaving behind only broken men and whispered warnings. Matthew never wrote his story. He couldn't. The words wouldn't come. He was left with only fragmented memories and a bone-deep terror that lingered long after he left Devil's Hollow behind. He was a survivor, yes, but also a prisoner, forever haunted by the shadows of the past.